The new 2024 Lowrider ST paint. Let's talk about it. All right, what's going on YouTube? FXDLS Brooklyn is back in the building. That's right, the 80s unkillable, baby. All right, so this is generally a topic I rarely make content about, but however, I was intrigued and I got a lot of messages after I released a recent poll, and one of the ones I did recently was giving you all a choice of 3 different options. There were 3 Lowrider STs, and what I put on there was the new Red Rock Red. I put on the White Sand Pearl, which you know is near and dear to my heart, being an owner of that bike. And then I put on the standard Vivid Black, and I just said, hey, if you had to choose one of these, which one would you choose? As per usual, whenever I do a poll, the results are actually really surprising. What I actually anticipated is I thought the popular option was going to be the Red Rock Red, you know, especially just being that it was something new and fresh. But actually, these are the results. And as you can see, Vivid Black actually wound up winning, which is really interesting. So then, you know, of course, people like to message me about this stuff too, especially when I drop a poll. And I don't know, man, I was kind of surprised because the Red Rock Red was actually getting a lot of hate. Like, a lot of people were just messaging me and just being like, yo, bro, it actually looks like ketchup, or it looks like tomato sauce. And hey, you're talking to an Italian American, so tomato sauce to me is a very attractive color. But, you know, that's besides the point. A lot of people, again, you know, were just not really thrilled with it. Me personally, my own opinion is, because the El Diablo is in existence, I'm kind of not sure why they chose to go with something that was so close to it, because obviously if you put those bikes side by side, the El Diablo is just gonna blow that paint away. So yeah, you know, I'm kind of with you all, wasn't really blown away with the Red Rock Red. And then I saw a couple other motovloggers, you know, make videos like a month or 2 months ago about the idea that you now have to pay for Vivid Black, whereas the standard paint is actually the Billiard Gray. Honestly, personally, you know, again, I know I'm definitely an outcast with my tastes and my aesthetics, you know. But anyway, I actually kind of find the Billiard Gray to be a better looking bike than the Vivid Black. You know, if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably choose the Billiard Gray. So if you're like me, you know, that decision is actually good, because then I wouldn't have to pay extra for what I think is a more interesting paint. And again, on the topic of Billiard Gray, I don't know, like, I haven't seen it in person, so it's really hard to say, but y'all know that Harley sent me a gunmetal gray ST back in 2021, so I do have a lot of miles on that particular bike and paint. And honestly, just from the pictures, like, I would have a pretty hard time telling the two apart at a glance. You know, I'm sure they would look different in person, but I don't know, y'all, they look very similar to me. And yeah, the other thing that I was kind of surprised at, with you all writing in and telling me about, is how many of y'all are fans of the gunmetal gray paint. So yeah, I guess I didn't realize how many people were really a fan of that gunmetal paint back in 2021. And again, someone who's ridden that bike in person and seen it a lot in person, it is definitely a damn good looking paint, so I can understand why. Besides people just like writing in and like hating on the Red Rock, a lot of people were writing in and just like talking about how they really missed and felt like they missed the opportunity to get the gunmetal gray, and were being like, Harley, you got to bring that paint back. So yeah, that was another thing I didn't expect. And again, it just reminds me that I'm definitely a true outcast in terms of my aesthetics and what I think is a good-looking bike, which is, of course, a White Sand Pearl Lowrider ST. Like, him dropping that paint is actually the thing that led me to go all in on a Lowrider ST when I did. I knew I always wanted a Lowrider ST, but once they dropped that paint, I was like, it's now or never, you know? It's like they're never gonna drop a paint scheme that I'm in love with as much as this again. So that kind of, again, forced my hand in terms of buying a Lowrider ST. So where do I stand on this? Well, honestly, in terms of the new paint options, you know, you guys know me. Obviously, I'm still very much in love with the White Sand Pearl. That for me is like by far the best paint scheme I think Harley Davidson has ever dropped in a very long time. For me personally, I think the only thing that comes close to that is maybe the El Diablo for me. But again, like, that paint scheme is near and dear to my heart. But again, that's for your favorite Dynabro that keeps things weird by rocking white leather and riding white flame Dynas and this and that. So I'm definitely by no means the majority opinion. So yeah, someone did ask me in the comments. They were like, all right, so you've asked us, you polled us, like, what's your opinion? What do you think, FXDLS Brooklyn? And honestly, my opinion on it, in terms of what the best paint option is right now, in terms of the Lowrider ST, my favorite paint option, you know, I think the biggest missed opportunity from Harley Davidson is not also offering it in that Sharkskin Teal that they're offering the Lowrider S in. That paint, damn, I would not be complaining to have a bike with that paint. You know, the paint schemes that generally resonate with me and rub off on me are the ones that are the weirdest and the most atypical, the ones that you just don't see very often. And that Sharkskin Teal is definitely a paint scheme you do not see very often. I think it works very well with the bronze highlights of the bike, and I think that particular paint is an absolute home run, and I think that one is going to go down as a classic in terms of people that are buying those bikes. And again, I just can't help but wonder, like, how sick that paint would have looked like for a Lowrider ST. But yeah, so new paint schemes by Harley, like I said, it's definitely not a topic that I generally would be covering on my channel, but I found myself kind of fascinated by the poll results, and again, enough of y'all were inquiring about my own opinion on it, so that is my opinion. I think, again, I know every now and then Harley Davidson does watch my videos, so my feedback would be, yo, release that Lowrider ST in that Sharkskin Teal, because in terms of all the new colors, that's the one that I think really pops and really stands out, you know? I would be very, very excited to be, you know, ripping around on a bike that's that color. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for that. Again, I'm not hating on any of the new paint schemes. I don't think I would be sad to be running any of the new ones, whether it's the Billiard Gray or the Red Rock Red. I think they're all pretty cool in their own regard. But the Sharkskin Teal definitely takes the cake for me. If you responded to that poll, last time I checked, there was like a little bit over 800 people had something to say. Let me know in the comment section, you know, why do you feel the way you feel? Do you think Harley Davidson might actually decide to one day release the ST in that Sharkskin Teal? Which paint do you think is the best? Do you agree with Harley Davidson charging for Vivid Black? You know, they must have their finger on the pulse, because, you know, I look at that poll that I did, and again, the winner was Vivid Black, so it's kind of funny that Harley Davidson is also now charging for that. So Harley Davidson, man, it's like they know what you want before you do. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna continue my very crisp and enjoyable mid-January winter ride here on my very old FXR. if you are buying a new Lowrider SD, congratulations. Stay safe and stay low. And on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.